Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon.
Why is he obsessed with fat?
I don't know, Joy. What's your obsession with being fat? Hi, I'm Pastor Marty, your self-fitness, self-aware, feel-good-about-yourself guru. No, that's not me at all on any level. But what I am is the host of the Afternoon Drive. This is the place where you will get my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Hey, please like and share this video. It's the only way that we can get the word out that we're here. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching the Afternoon Drive. Every presidential administration has their agenda, if you will, for the military. Now, every president basically says we want to have the biggest, baddest, bestest military on the planet, that they're always combat ready. But the last several years, we have had presidential leadership through Barack Obama and Joe Biden that started to treat the military like this incredible experiment of getting them focused on climate change, transitioning, pronouns. President Biden even gave a speech on maybe we have to recreate helmets to fit female hair differently. No thought of the female having to cut her hair to fit the helmet. So it opened the door to wokeism. And we heard so-called military geniuses like General Miley, who's confused apparently about himself and what he might be, thinking and saying out loud in speeches like, yes, I'd like to give greater understanding to diversity, equity, inclusion, and transgender and what that means for us. Basically, Donald Trump has come into office and said, enough of that bullhawk, that nonsense is over, and the Secretary of War, love that title, Pete Hegseth, has made it abundantly clear by gathering all of the military leadership from all the branches of service together. He didn't do this on a Zoom call. He didn't do this through email memos. He got them all in the same place and in front of the president, basically said, it is time to ditch the woke, ditch the sissy, ditch the nonsense. We're not here to defend or validate your self-esteem, your dysfunction. We're here to defend a republic, to be war ready at all times, that in a moment's notice, you haven't got to get in shape and get ready to go into combat. You will be ready to go into combat.
Today, at my direction, we are also adding a combat field test for combat arms units that must be executable in any environment at any time and with combat equipment.
I know the libloons getting ready to go into meltdown mode. This is just a way for them to weed out what? The weak? This is just a way for them to weed out the leaders who are transitioning. Remember that walrus woman person thing, man, dude, Richard Levine, who went around in a Navy admiral outfit? Here's a person that's obviously dealing with all kinds of issues of their own, not just in their psyche, but in their body mass. And they were like the assistant in charge of health. And nobody was allowed to say or question anything about that individual. But yet you've got these people up on Capitol Hill that are all bought and paid for by Big Pharma. They're trying to paint Robert Kennedy Jr. as an existential threat to health and to science. A guy who himself is, at his age, ripped and in good shape and just wants America to get healthy again. But we were told these trans individuals, these overweight, bloviating, politically correct military leaders, this is who we had to put our faith and trust in. And Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth have said, absolutely not. We are done with the woke. Get out. We are done with the weak. You might need to go find yourself a different job somewhere. And if you're a female and want to serve in a combat forward position, you've got to be in the same physical shape as a dude.
I'm also directing that warfighters in combat jobs execute their service fitness test at a gender-neutral, age-normed male standard scored above 70%.
Why is this controversial, especially among the liberals who are constantly saying, hey, 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 yes, yes. Teenage boys who have decided they are now girls can barely compete against girls and girl sports in high school. There's no difference. Really? Really? I love my wife. She's cute, little, petite. She's not ever going to be able to carry me or anyone out of a combat zone. And so the idea of saying, hey, we're not saying G.I. Jane, that there aren't some females out there that get ripped and they want to serve in a forward military post, fine, but you're going to pass the same test as a man. No more changing it. No more dumbing it down. No more scaling it back. Everybody that's going to serve in that position is going to pass the same test. Now, what is the problem with that? It's only a problem if you're a libloon.
Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon.
Fat men are supposed to be jolly. General Burkhalter is just a nasty old tub of lard.
Gone.
And the next time he phones, I'm out.
He didn't call this time.
He didn't? Well, if he didn't, he probably telegraphed. And if he didn't telegraph, he's probably standing right behind me. Oh, what a wonderful surprise, General Burkhalter. I knew you were here all the time. I bet you're ready to blow your lard at me. I mean, you're fat. You know I was only kidding, don't you?
Of course you were. And I want you to know, I haven't laughed like this in years.
Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon.
So Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, is basically saying, you're going to lead by example. You are going to get in shape, be in shape, so that as a representation of the United States military, whether it be in the air, on the water, on land, you are going to look like you belong in command because you're going to be physically in shape. You are going to lead by example. But apparently, the Hagettes over at The View, they don't understand this.
Why is he obsessed with fat?
Yeah, and fitness.
So Joy, not a Babeheart, doesn't understand this obsession with fat and Sonny Holstein and being in shape. Are you kidding? I mean, really, the jokes just write themselves on this one. Are you kidding me? I understand why guys like Harry Sisson and David Hogg, the soy boy bisexuals of the Democratic left, which is apparently on the left, every male now under the age of, I used to say under the age of 30, but now that Charlie Sheen has admitted he likes to flip over both sides of the menu. I mean, just, yeah, you soy boy wannabe male things, whatever you are, yeah, the modern military is not going to be a place for you. Yes, we're bringing back toxic masculinity. We're bringing back men, maleness. And that's really what has the liberals twisted. This is an attack on no longer blurring the lines of gender. This is an affront to what the left has been perpetrating on males in this country for the better part of a half a century. When I was a school administrator, we would have the county school psychologist would come in periodically, do evaluations, and they're sitting there doing a lecture with my teachers about boys who misbehave, and of course, out come the labels: ADD, ADHD, hyper this, tentative that, and all of it was gearing toward, the reports that you fill out and the assessments that you make to recommend to the parents to go to this therapist. So basically they could get their boys put on pills, Ritalin and everything else. And that's when I stood up and said, that's enough. The real issue here is they are boys, B-O-Y-S. They are bored with the way school is structured, because schools are really structured and designed for the way adolescent girls think, the way little girls think. Sit, be quiet, watch an example on a blackboard, write it down in your notes, and that's not how boys learn. Boys learn by experience. They don't want to sit in a classroom and have the game of basketball explained to them. They want to go in the gym, hand them a basketball, and you explain the game as they're actually doing something. They go to an auto mechanics class, and they want to touch the motor. They want to pull it apart. They want to see how it works. The modern psychology movement, where boys are concerned and behavioral modification, all that bullhock, was a way of emasculating boys, neutering them so that they are no longer strong, decisive leaders. It was about literally destroying the male gender. And that's what the left has been doing. And they have even been allowed to creep in and do it in the military. And you would think that these generals and these admirals would say no. But apparently, too many of them, the military is a career, a political opportunity, a way to kiss the right arse and rise through the ranks, propagating all of this woke bullhock. And the Secretary of War and the Commander-in-Chief have said, no more. Not on our watch.
At my direction, every warrior across our joint force is required to do PT every duty day. Should be common sense. I mean, most units do that already, but we're codifying it. And we're not talking like hot yoga and stretching. Real hard PT, either as a unit or as an individual. At every level, from the Joint Chiefs to everyone in this room to the youngest private, leaders set the standard. And so many of you do this already. Active, guard, and reserve.
Yeah, you guys are going to get in shape. All of the woke agenda is gone. Oh, and by the way, you're going to get haircuts and you're going to look like men.
No more beards, long hair, superficial individual expression. We're going to cut our hair, shave our beards, and adhere to standards. Because it's like the broken windows theory of policing. It's like when you let the small stuff go, the big stuff eventually goes. So you have to address the small stuff. This is on duty, in the field, and in the rear. If you want a beard, you can join Special Forces. If not, then shave. We don't have a military full of Nordic pagans. But unfortunately, we have had leaders who either refuse to call BS and enforce standards, or leaders who felt like they were not allowed to enforce standards. Both are unacceptable. And that's why today, at my direction, the era of unprofessional appearance is over. No more beardos. The era of rampant and ridiculous shaving profiles is done. Simply put, if you do not meet the male-level physical standards for combat positions, cannot pass a PT test, or don't want to shave and look professional, it's time for a new position or a new profession.
Pardon the pun for this being a military-oriented commentary, but boom.